My name's Amber Plaster, and I'm going to be interviewing Katie Cassidy. Come on up here, Katie Cassidy.
What's up? Hey, what's up? Los Angeles. I'm a native, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Have you been to LA Comic Con before? Is this your
I think it's my first LA Comic Con. However, I was at the convention. It was a sci-fi last year here in Los Angeles. It's fun. Great fans. It's good to see you guys. Are you having a good time? Yes! Love it!
So I'm going to take a few questions from the fans in just a minute, but I wanted to know, what are you most excited to have them see with you this season?
Well, Arrow Season 7. I hope all of you are tuning in. Are we? Yes, yes. Good. I love that.
A lot of Arrow fans.
And in terms of my character, I think you will see, we'll definitely get into more of Black Siren and her backstory and what her motives are and why. You know, obviously she has it out for Diaz, and she's now come into the position of being mayor and such. I think, you know, basically there's a lot going on with her. There's a lot of layers, and she is still a bit of a loose cannon, though. You never know what you're gonna get from her. It's been really fun playing her. You know, obviously, I get the question often, do you prefer the Black Canary or do you prefer Black Siren? And I mean, it's a very hard question because obviously I'm very close to the Black Canary, but playing Black Siren has been a lot of fun. Playing evil has been a lot of fun. And I like that she's sassy, you know? And she's a little mysterious. So I think we'll get into her backstory, and I think everyone's gonna be pretty surprised. It's exciting.
So you relate, or you having more fun with Black Siren than Black Canary?
Hell yeah. Playing evil is so, it is, it's a blast. And it allows me to be more free in the material, and as an actor, obviously, I prefer that. So it's been fun, it's been cool.
Very cool. I think I'm going to take a few questions from you guys. Do we have any Arrow fans out here? Yeah? Okay, I'm going to come down to you guys.
Love you, Katie.
Oh, thank you.
All right,
I
raise
love
your
you
hand if
too.
you got a question.
Did you say raise your hand if you have a
Raise
question?
your hand.
Hi, what would you say is the biggest difference between yourself and your character on the show?
Which
Arrow? Arrow?
The one you like.
Black Siren or Black Canary? Black Siren. Which is the biggest difference or similarity? Biggest difference. Well, I don't think I'm evil. I have to say, I truly do feel, me personally, I connect more with Laurel in terms of, and when I first read the pilot, you know, 7 years ago, and she has very strong morals and values and obviously beliefs, and she fights for what she believes in, and I can relate to that, and I feel like that's closer to me as an individual, as opposed to, you know, Black Siren, who can be a little scary, but I do like that she stands up for herself too, and can stand up to Diaz, and isn't afraid to take down. I don't know, she's a fighter. They both are. So I think that I have a tattoo that says warrior on my hand, so I think that aspect I definitely relate to.
I love that. Let's get another question from the fan.
Your character, the district attorney, Laura on this earth, how does she get her law skills from, you know, I know she probably admires the dad, right? But the dad is not from your earth.
Sorry, I say that again? How did I?
Your character is a district attorney in this season.
Yeah.
How did she get her law skills, if you will?
I still don't understand that last one.
How did your character gain her law skills, all of her knowledge?
Oh, she studied up really quick. No, in season 6, if you remember, there was an episode, because I actually asked this exact question to Beth Schwartz, our showrunner, who's fantastic. I love her. You know, and basically Quentin had given Laurel, Black Siren, in season 6, Laurel Earth 1's law books. So she's sort of doing that whole thing, fake it till you make it. But I do think she's doing it, as best as she can. And I think she's doing some reading, and she's a good actor. She's putting on a show for everyone.
All right, we got another question here.
Hello, Katie. How do you train physically as the Black Siren?
I work out. I work out often. It was interesting, and I talk about this actually a lot. My character going from Laurel Lance season 1 to Laurel Lance season 4, everything you saw was actually genuinely happening in terms of my character and myself going through training. So I put myself sort of through what the character was going through, martial arts, kickboxing, fight training, and it was pretty empowering and awesome, and I felt really good about myself, so I continue to do that. I like knowing how to fight. I like knowing I can walk down the street and be like, okay, somebody wants to mess with me, I can hold down my own. I can throw down if need be. So I lifting, going to the gym, and also I spin. I like spin classes, but I think that's more of a mental thing. It's, I don't know, therapeutic in some ways. So yeah.
So it sounds like you were already ready to go, already physically in shape, and then you got to actually study the martial arts for this role. Were you able to study martial arts for any other role, or is this kind of specific to Arrow that you trained for? I trained. There was one other time in my career when I played Ruby on Supernatural. Supernatural fans out there. I had done some martial arts training for that, so it was fun to sort of dive back into it and get to learn and train more. I actually wish that as of right now, because the Black Siren, in terms of I'm not doing as much fight training as I was, season 4, season 3, but I still love it, and it's always fun when, David Ramsey or I are on set. We do all these drills together. It's cool. It's awesome. Awesome. We have another question here.
Hello, I just want to know, what's your favorite memory on the set of Arrow?
Favorite memory? Maybe let's just say this past season. Make it easier. Off the top of your head.
Well, I have to say it's not going to be this past season, but I do have a favorite memory.
Any
It's
memory.
just ridiculous every time I think about it. So it was during season 3, it was either season 2 or 3. My character, as you know, was quite emotional, always crying. When I was on set, I would try and stay in it when I had a heavy emotional day. And I felt so bad even for some of my cast members, because it wasn't necessarily pleasant. I kept to myself. I was sort of in a corner, and they were like, "Is Katie okay?" They didn't, and then once, we got to know each other, they learned that this is just sort of part of my craft. And I was on set one day shooting with Steven, and I'm sitting there, and for whatever reason, I looked at my phone, and there's a picture sent to me from John Barrowman, and I've told this story before, where he's in my trailer, a picture of him taking a selfie with his bare ass, like this, on the refrigerator, my couch, the bed, wherever it was, these ridiculous photos, pulling this prank. I cannot stop laughing. I'm supposed to be, as I said, staying in it. I show it to Steven. Steven's like, oh, God. He's like, I don't want to see that. Meanwhile, just so you guys have context, John Barrowman wasn't even in the episode. I didn't even know he was in Vancouver. So I was like, what are you doing? But it was nice having him around. He's hilarious, and it was fun. We needed that sort of lightness that he brought to our set in our cast. And so I definitely think, shooting with John Barrowman, he's hilarious, he's ridiculous, and I love him to death. So yeah, that was definitely a fun memory for me.
Awesome. I think I have another fan question here.
Hey Katie, big fan. I just want to know, do you regret their decision to remove Black Canary from the show, and do you think she should come
Sorry,
back?
I can't hear you very well.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Do you think that there's a possibility Black Canary could come back, either via Barry or the Wave Rider? And what did you think of the initial decision to remove her from the show?
Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
What is your thoughts on Black Canary making a comeback on the show? And what were your thoughts on her leaving?
Got it. I don't know in terms of if you will see me or Black Canary, my version, Laurel Lance, Black Canary. Again, I think it would be cool in some way if they could implement it. I don't know, movie magic, but Black Canary, Black Siren, and maybe even Sarah in an episode fighting against. I have no idea. I think it would be really cool to see that. And the second part of your question, how did I feel about
her?
Dude, I was sad. I was so sad. It was.
Who else was sad?
Yeah, it was sad. It was sad. I'm like, there's in the grave, and I was like, okay, wow. I was sad, but for whatever reason, I knew in my gut that it wasn't over yet. And so it was awesome that they brought me back the way that they did on Flash. I'm very happy.
They brought you back. And I have time for maybe one more question.
Hi, do you have like a favorite line or most memorable line that Laurel has said like throughout the show?
A favorite line or a favorite moment that Laurel had?
Yes, I wrote it today. I'm the justice you can't run from.
I'm the justice you can't run from.
Oh yes. Oh yes. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you guys. Let's see if we have one more question. One more question? Come on here.
So I have a little sister myself, and I was curious, what were your feelings during season 1 and 3 when Sarah died? What were your feelings there, and how did you act that out?
That's a great question. I have 2 sisters myself. I'm very close with, so it was pretty easy for me to tap into that. Katie Lotz, the chemistry that we have is wonderful, and us working together, she's wonderful to work with. I love when I have stuff with her. Paul Blackthorne, the same. So, having done backstory and the relationship and the dynamic between Sarah and Laurel, and giving it as much detail, using my imagination, coming up with backstory and creating it, and then putting yourself in the moment and living in the moment and true to what's unfolding in front of you. It was all very real. It's hard, and I imagine, obviously at times I would imagine it if it were my sister, and so I could relate in some aspect. If that answers your question. Yes? Okay, good.
What do you wish that you could tell your fans about working on Arrow that they may not know? About your character, about working on set? Is there anything that you feel like you wish you could tell them?
Yes, but I can't tell them.
Oh.
I can't say it, but yes, there's a lot I wish I could tell you. Go on for days.
Tried to get it, it didn't work. All right, cool. Well, we have just pretty much this is it for the interview. We have maybe one more question, and I wanted to personally ask, what is your all-time favorite project that you've worked on so far?
Definitely Arrow.
Arrow?
Yes. I also did this movie with Tate Donovan recently and Matthew Lillard called Grace, which was fantastic to shoot, really difficult, but it'll be coming out. It'll be coming out soon, so be on the lookout for that. And I did this movie called The Scribbler. It was based off a graphic novel, and I played a girl who had multiple personality disorder. It was sort of a dark thriller, sci-fi, comic book-esque, but it was cool. It was fun because I got to sort of create 7 different characters in one, if that makes sense. So the whole transitioning and learning about it, and it was tough, but it was I like a challenge. Like
Did you create 7 different characters, or did you kind of have a through line for that Scribbler character?
For what I did is I created 7 different backstories for 7 different characters, and then implemented them all into one. So I would, after doing script analysis, going through seeing which transition as to what alters sort of came out based off of the research that I did. It was pretty, I mean, the research I did was very in-depth. I actually sat down with somebody who has multiple personality disorder and sort of just, because I wanted to make it as real as possible and obviously give as much justice to it as possible. And it was really cool learning experience, and I'm glad I did it.
Very cool. Thank you so much for coming out to spend time with us here.
Thank
Everyone
you.
give a round of applause for Katie.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Bye.
He's a moderator. It's not like running. It's not like 30 minutes.